Hey, Steve Shenbaum here with Laugh With. This is a big deal for me. I say that every time, but I have 3 dear friends. We're laughing with Applied Leadership Partners. They also are individuals, Brandon Young, Sarah Holzab, and Blayne Smith. And you'll hear more about them as we chop this up. But one of our dearest respected colleagues, we've worked with them. I've known Brandon, Blayne, and Sarah for over a decade. When we all connected years ago with Team Red, White, and Blue, when this group was leading that initiative, we may touch on that. But really, it's about levity and joy and laughter, and redefining laughter is more than just, hey, I want to tell a joke that I found on the internet, because that's scary, and you end up in a weird hula hoop or some kind of shtick. So, Laugh With Applied Leadership Partners. Thank you all for being here.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us, Steve.
This is
Great.
So I will tell our viewers and our listeners that this group is here, but they're not usually in Bradenton. They come from Louisiana and Denver and Maine, and they're here to do some filming and also for us to do some professional development with them. So I want to start with what you were teed up to understand. Everything else, we're just riffing. Cool?
Sure.
That laugh with moment. Defining laughter is more than just, I'm funny and I'm going to tell the joke that wins over everyone. Because if you think that way, I think it excludes a lot of levity and joy. What's a moment, a laugh with moment, whoever wants to take it, that brought you some joy and levity in the last few days?
I'll jump right in. One of the ones that really got me in the last couple of days is we got the chance to do some new content. Chris guided us through some new Game On content. And part of it included, of course, the power of improv to really get things going. And Chris and Sarah were in this scene. Yeah. And the whole group laughed because of this, because it was just so Sarah, like so perfectly Sarah. The scene starts out and the opening line was, what's a good gluten-free restaurant that you've heard of? And Sarah, without skipping a beat, was like, I don't eat gluten-free.
It's so good.
It was just like so deadpan, so perfectly her, so Sarah, and everyone's like,
I also love, though, Brandon, because I was watching that I've gotten to know Sarah these last few days as we're working out in the morning and hanging out. Mm-hmm. It's with full care and conviction.
Totally.
Care and conviction and it actually added value to the scene.
Yeah.
That's great. That's good. I love that your laugh with actually celebrated someone else. Sarah, Blayne, you got a laugh with levity, joy moment that you want to share?
The past couple of days?
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like there was a lot.
There was.
The improv thing was very out of my scope of being comfortable, which was perfect.
Yes.
And it was great. So I don't know. The whole week's been fun. I can't really pinpoint one.
Yeah, there's
one
a
moment.
lot of laughter. I've really enjoyed being able to do bits.
Yeah.
Like, it's not every day that you're around people that like something just sparks off a comment, and the next thing you know, you're doing a bit and you're like way down the road. I've really enjoyed that a lot. Probably the best thing in terms of levity, though, has been Sarah with the scene with the clacker.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what it
I
is.
should know this as
clacker.
Yeah.
Clacker.
As a former actor, I should know that. A marker.
But that was absolutely critical. I mean, Nick, I'm sure will use it somehow in like the actual filming part of it. But why it was so important to me is because like Brandon and I would sometimes be just grinding, trying to get a take, messing up content that we've done 1,000 times, like generally upset with ourselves. We're pretty good about not getting upset with each other.
Yeah.
Like we get upset with ourselves when we're screwing stuff up, but then we'd have to like, just give me another take. And Sarah would come in like, Sarah, be funny. And then she's like, what do you mean? And like the whole thing would just allow us to reset and put a smile on it and try to actually just get a good take. Which is hard when you've had a couple of bad ones in a row. And so as long as just like some little interruption to reset, I found it to be really important.
And it leads us into kind of what I want to chop up. And I want to give a little baseline so our viewers and listeners need to understand that all 3 of these dear friends and colleagues have served at the elite level of our military. You know, we've got Coast Guard here, we got special operations, we can talk about. I share that because you probably won't, but there's authority in all 3 of you that I respect immensely. In fact, my wife Jackie, who had a chance to get to know you there, she said to me, you know, one of the things that makes that applied leadership team so unique, because I'm like, oh wow, Jackie's going to give me an unfiltered view, right? Mm-hmm. You know, she's pretty, her yes is her yes, her no is her no.
Oh yeah.
Similar to this.
Yes.
Coast Guard,
Yes.
Sarah. And Jackie said this group is full of authority and humility, which I just thought was cool. So I just wanted to baseline that. But Brandon and Blayne and Sarah, let's talk a little bit about sort of the journey in filming for 3 straight days, and that flow and the levity, and also sort of the challenges that you faced when you're all 3 high performers and you're on your 6th take.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah, fair. I mean, I will just start with So we just spent 3 days in the studio getting through re-recording, because we recorded 4 years ago. We recorded a bunch of content. We're a leadership development company, so we help teams to really get on a common language, right? To share common frameworks and language so that they can be more effective and more aligned and execute with more certainty or confidence. And the thing that I found to be pretty challenging across the journey here is that, Blayne and I have spoken in front of, I don't even know how many groups of people, lots of people. We've shared this information with lots of human beings. We wrote this stuff. We spent so much time with it. I mean, this is what we do all day, every day. And then to get out of the space with other humans and right into a studio with a camera where you're like, okay, wait, line, you're just like, what am I? All of a sudden, I'm like in like a Hollywood studio scene. Like, I've never said line in my entire life, and I'm like,
It reminds me, Brandon, this is perfect. I always think about this idea, and everyone needs to understand they go through this idea of action. When you hear action, what does that do to you? And Brandon, you and I talked after yesterday, you were filming, and I said to you, and I knew the answer, would you rather go through that like seventh take, or would you rather like
do a road march?
Do a road march, and your answer was?
I'd rather do a road march.
Folks, a road march is not a stroll.
Yeah, I was smoked yesterday when you asked me that question.
These are folks that do like 50 Ks and do like ultimate like rucks. Embrace the challenge, and here you are smoked. So what were some of those moments that you had that action, and what were some ways in which you navigated out of the tension and the frustration with yourself and the frustration, can we be real, sometimes with our teammates?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having Sarah and Nick in the room for a lot of it, one of the things I tried to do was just try to speak to them. When I try to speak to the camera, you can imagine that's whatever it is, a big audience, a small audience, but having to really feel like you have to nail it is what really causes me to stumble. Because when I'm in a room with people, there's some feedback, and I know that I can mess up a word or kind of, not say quite the right thing, and I can come back to it. I could even say, hey, I missed something on the last slide. And audiences are really forgiving for that. They actually appreciate your authenticity and your humility in those moments. But when you're doing something that's going to be recorded and edited and it's going to kind of live on the internet forever type thing, I think there's a lot of pressure to really get the take right. And so I was just trying to speak to my teammates if I could, and just I have to tell this story, I have to say this line, imagine myself in a conference room or a classroom with real people, and remember, it doesn't have to be perfect.
That's great.
But it's hard to do, but that was my only shot at getting through some of it.
Yeah. Sarah, did you feel like you were in a little moment of action behind this camera when Brandon and Blayne would be like, Sarah, bring us out of this, right?
Sarah, be funny.
I know. It was interesting being on the other side of the camera and having to give them some input and feedback, because I've seen them do this content so much, comparing it to the previous recordings that they did years ago to now and then in person. And I've seen them really nail a lot of the points. And it was really hard for me, when they've not done this video 5 or 6 times, to just say, can you just do that?
Yeah.
Just redo this part. I know I've seen you nail that. I'm sorry, but
one more time.
Just one more time.
That's a lot.
I was so thankful for you doing that.
Yeah.
So thankful. I mean, we kind of set that expectation coming into this, but I know it can be a little tough to tell somebody one more time.
Yeah.
But I'm so appreciative that you were doing that.
And it lifts up one of the modules we actually experienced when you all shared your professional development with us. You all really helped us understand and redefine this idea of empowerment and accountability. Well, you had to put that's the tough. You're not doing a pre-recorded video about and this is no offense to this, building a 2x4. You're teaching people, and in the process, you have to be living it out loud. So how was accountability and empowerment in play during this process?
No, I think the hardest thing is a lot of times.
Laughter,
There we go.
A lot.
So knowing when something is good enough is really tricky in that environment, because when you're doing it live, it has to be good enough. And Brandon and I and Sarah, when we're out on the road and we're live, we're really good about picking each other up. So if Brandon's got a part of a presentation and he gets it 80% or 95% right, I can take over from him and say, yeah, I really agree with that. And there's another thing that I often think about in that scenario. And we kind of pick each other up in stride almost seamlessly.
I've watched it.
When you're doing it in a recorded environment, it's really hard to do that. And some takes, rarely, but sometimes you really nail it. But most of what's going to go in the can is like good enough.
Yeah.
It was 90% or 95%. I think all of us really struggle with this idea that like, I've done that better. I know I can do it better, but we're 4 or 5 takes in and it's like, am I likely to do it better at this point, or do we need to go with that one and move on? I think that is a point on which all of it can teeter sometimes, I think.
Yeah, I want to pick up on that because about halfway through day 1, we have some shots where we're side by side. Actually, this is day 2.
Yeah.
We have shots where we're side by side, and it might have been even after the first module, we were trying really hard not to do this weird, like, I'm looking at you while you're talking, then you're looking at me when you're talking, then I'm looking at you when you're talking, then it's like what, it's like weird. We tried really hard not to get into that, but Blayne picked up and really kind of like made the point, like, wait a minute, like I think that we're okay to like engage with each other a little bit here and there because that's where the chemistry is. Like the chemistry is here, and that's part of what makes it fun. I think it's part of what makes it compelling. It's part of what makes it great is the fact that we can interact with each other. Yeah. And I think that was a really good example of accountability in execution because it was a quick measurement and evaluation, and we made a quick refinement. And I think it really helped us uncork the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Former actor sitting here in awe watching 3 people who have spent decades protecting our country. When you were active duty, did you have on-camera training? Did you have any story? I'm just curious. I'm listening to this going, that's like the note you gave Brandon and Sarah's like, that comes from like, people are studying that in like master's degrees at like the theater programs. And I'm sitting here going, that was a great take. Did you have on-camera experience prior? Did you have storytelling? Or where did that muscle get developed for you to rotate in and navigate this pre-recorded experience?
Well, military experience, I'd say no. I remember being on television one time when I was stationed on my ship, and I had to give an interview to the local Boston News about an approaching storm and how we prepare the ship. And I was like, this is so weird. I don't know what to say,
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, we're just trying to keep the ship at the pier,
Right.
But no, in the military, no. I would say, I guess my presenting experience came, some of it in a little military, just giving reports and having to memorize certain pieces of information, but I got much better at it, like my next job when I worked in the oil and gas industry and working in government relations and having to brief officials on certain things. And that's kind of where I perfected like the elevator speech, where you're getting in an elevator, you've got 2 minutes with the senator to make your point, and that's pretty much where I kind of learned how to be brief and to the point.
Yeah, I think to reinforce the work that you guys do and why it's so important, I started doing drama and theater in like middle school and public speaking competitions, and I did throughout high school, and that might be the most valuable stuff that I learned as a kid because then I get into the Army and you think, what does this have to do with anything? Other than the fact you have to stand up in front of people as a platoon leader every single day, lead PT, and do all this stuff that requires you to have some confidence standing and speaking to people. And then Brandon and I got into sales when we got out of the Army. That was our first job, which was, how do you get in front of somebody and deliver something confidently? And then I went to Team RWB, and then I was at the Go Ruck and had to stand and talk to audiences, sometimes in front of a camera. And like those skills are so critical. Your ability to translate what you know and what you want others to know and understand, and do it in a way that's compelling. There are a few skills that are more important than that ability right there.
That's so good.
From my experience in the military, I had the opportunity and the expectation to actually be a presenter. Yeah. So one of the last things that I did for the Ranger Regiment, the 75th Ranger Regiment, is that I was part of the pre-Ranger team. So what that means is that we take young Rangers who we feel are ready to become leaders in the Rangers, and we send them to the U.S. Army Ranger School. They graduate, they come back, and then they can move on as leaders within the organization. And I got to be a part of the cadre team that was preparing these folks for going out there and actually being successful in Ranger School. It's a very difficult program. And so I was up in front of classes often. I was talking a lot about, guys, when in charge, be in charge. You have to project your confidence because nobody's going to follow you if you're just completely uncertain and unconfident. And then strangely, that got put into a different context because I competed in the Best Ranger competition in 2006, and it was recorded by the military channel. We had a whole production team, the entire 60 hours, following us around, and it became kind of hysterical because people were like, you guys are the people's champion. By the way, we weren't the champions. We got third place, which I'm very proud of. Fair. But they were like, you're the people's champion.
All of a sudden, you're like a star of a reality show that you didn't sign up for.
Exactly. And in the midst of just getting like wrung out and smashed against the wall in Best Ranger, which if you don't know anything about that, it's 60 miles in 60 hours. They call it like the Iron Man on steroids, basically. It's a
Sounds
mess.
lovely.
It's a mess, right? There's not a whole lot of laughing with in that moment.
Fair.
But yeah, I mean, I think those experiences help me. And then, I think it kind of feels often like I'm on stage all the time at my house. I'm just a silly person. That's great. I'm very silly, and I think for a lot of years of my life, I wasn't really able to let that silliness out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just like to have fun with it.
I'm going to put you all on the spot. This just hit me when you were saying that, Brand. I think this will be really helpful for hopefully just the four of us and also for our listeners and our viewers. You complement each other really well. Like I've worked with Brandon and Blayne on stage. Sarah, we were able to watch the three of you teach. What are some of the things that you appreciate about each other? And we're not going into a 2-hour validation session. Cool? But I want to get someone where here. I want to really touch on this idea, that we're all presenters. You just define that. We're all presenters.
Yeah.
Stop making it exclusive to the person who studied theater, right?
Sure.
We're all presenters, but what is it that you value about each other in terms of your style of teaching? Because I've watched the three of you, and you do complement each other well. If it was all three certain styles that are all in the same quadrant, it could kind of be 3 lead guitars. And that's not really a great band.
Yeah, I could go on. I'll try to be concise here because I love these guys so much and appreciate so much about their friendship. But I'll say Sarah, it's like her sincerity. I mean, you can just see it. It oozes out of her. She genuinely cares about everybody around her and will do whatever she can to make sure that people have what they need, feel safe, feel comfortable, and are kind of getting the message. So that kind of sincerity goes a super long way in a stressful business at times. Brandon is like the greatest encourager I've ever met. And I've said this to him a lot of times, that I'll say it as many times as he'll listen. I'm a pretty even keel person. I don't have super low lows or super high highs, but I demand a lot of myself. And Brandon is so encouraging. There's no chance I could do any of what we're doing right now without, the kind of the love and support he provides, and just that, you've got this, you're really great at this. Because I'm like, I'm okay. And he's like, what are you talking about? That was amazing.
I have to say.
And we're not going to get there without him pulling that out of me. Like, I just couldn't be as good at this as I hope to be without someone kind of showing me that they believe in me.
I remember when I first met Brandon, again, after 10 years of connecting with you years ago, and it was literally in a car in San Diego after I picked him up at the airport, and it was like this encouragement off. It was, meaning like we were having like, you encourage me, I encourage you. Oh my gosh, I've met another encourager.
Yeah, I've seen that here this week. You guys are like, no, you guys are the best. No, we appreciate
No, you're the best. No,
give me a gift. You give me a gift. Brandon, Sarah, a couple of quick lift ups. And I'm doing this purposely also for folks to understand the value in your team. Yes, you're going to make each other accountable. And yes, you're going to say, hey, I need you to work on this. I need you to improve on this. But also we have to have those moments, those drive-by moments where we say, you're doing this well and I appreciate this about you. And be specific about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say for Brandon, he's very good at reading both of us, I think. Me especially, he knows I can be pretty hard on myself. Mm-hmm. And so he'll say, hey, I'm going to bring something to your attention. Don't beat yourself up about it, but here's this and this. Yeah. So he's very good at that. And during presenting, he's also very good at coming up right behind and maybe sticking a point that I missed, and I'm just like, oh, like he's very good that way. Yeah. Blayne is, and they're both very sensitive to the fact that they can both read me, but they're also both very supportive. And then when it comes to just strict presenting and like ideas and work, Blayne is so good at taking a word salad and condensing it down to the essential points. And he did that yesterday when we were presenting with you guys and you guys were doing your discussion with the questions. Yep. And he's so good at just listening and like reading it back to you.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just pick up on that. I mean, the intellectual horsepower that Blayne has is off the charts, and that's nice. But in addition to that, he loves taking compliments.
No, he does not. That's great.
And what's rare, also, I would say, is that the emotional horsepower is just as potent. Blayne has an uncanny ability to really pay attention to the room. He has often said he's made a living out of being the least cool person in the room. And the funny thing about it is he is the coolest person in the room, and somebody that just kind of keeps things even. You know, he already talked about the fact that he's kind of an even keel guy, and I will tell you that his ability to clarify things and also keep us kind of smooth and even and on track. No shot that I am even half as effective as a presenter without my teammate there with me, because his ability to just really crystallize, clarify, and it's more than that, is really extend confidence. It's like a confidence amplifier. And I think it makes it really special. And I would just also say, and I think part of this is because I tend to run a little hot. Okay.
Self-awareness.
Thank you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I resemble that remark.
Thank you. I tend to run a little hot, and Sarah provides this kind, compassionate balance for our entire team.
That's great.
Consistently keeps us like really just centered. I mean, you should know that she's also a exceptional yogi.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
So she just, she just really brings like the peace, brings kind of the calm in a lot of ways. And for as kind as you are about extending how, I'm an encourager, Sarah gives me so much encouragement every single day in these very subtle but very profound ways, because I'm a real words of affirmation guy. I think it's partially why I try very hard to affirm others. I mean, you always have to be careful. We all have different languages.
Yep.
But just hearing from Sarah, like, that was really good. I mean, half the time this whole time, we would know when we got something, but I would end a take and I would be a little bit unsure, and I'd be like, Sarah,
Yep.
What do you think? And
So
she's like,
truth meter. Yeah.
she's like, you got it.
You got it.
And then again, for her to say, like that wasn't your best.
Yeah.
That meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I just,
It's also hard for me to say.
and I know that too.
You know?
Like I can see that in you, and I think that it's a good opportunity also just to say this. Like, we're a small team, and when Blayne and I were big enough to hire our first person, had to be Sarah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we didn't open up Rex. We called Sarah. I think we
great.
were both at opposite ends of an airport, weren't we? Didn't we get on a Zoom call together? So Blayne is like in the A gates,
and
I'm in like the B gates.
You're like an Atlanta airport.
And we're having a full conversation with Sarah, and she's like, "Are you guys in the same airport?" Because
Same region.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Close enough.
do you guys need me to bring you back together?
That's
Like,
the irony of it. I think they do need me to actually figure out that they shouldn't do Zooms in separate parts
Same
of the airport.
Yeah.
That's great. It reminds me when you share that that people need to think about it when they build a team. If you go for just, hey, someone that is a lot like me, and I'll use me as an example, you get 5 of me's in the room, there's going to be a lot of fun and creativity, a lot of encouragement. You'll probably be bankrupt in a couple days, And I just encourage people to really be aware that you're building like a bit of an orchestra, you're building a symphony, you're building a band, and you need a variety of instruments. As you were sharing, I thought about your videos that you're doing right now or have just completed.
Sure.
Was there a module when you were filming that you actually had an aha moment in the module? You've written these, you're filming these, you're close to the content. But I'm curious when you're going through it all, where if you're like, wow, that really, I see it differently. It jumped out a little different because what you did, how many, 8? 14 modules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just was curious because you have to live out what you're teaching And I was wondering if you're like, I see that a little differently. That squared me up.
The first one that jumps to mind is we have a module that's called Earned Confidence.
Okay.
And it's this idea that, preparation is more important than prediction because nobody can predict the future.
You actually gave Jake a sticker
That's right.
that said that. And just so you know, a little compliment, he came to me this morning. He's like, I love this. So
It's this idea that we can't predict the future, but we can try to prepare ourselves and our teams for an uncertain future. But in that, we talk about this idea that over time and through actually doing things, you kind of learn a level of confidence by knowing what it actually looks and feels and smells like. But then at some point you earn a level of confidence such that you can take a set of skills or capabilities and port it over to like new and novel problems. Like that's real earned confidence. I haven't ever quite done this before, but I've got like a bank of skills and experience that I'm pretty sure I can figure it out if I need to. And doing filming and taking all this stuff that we've learned and we've done 100 times and having to do it in a totally different environment, it really kind of hit me differently. I was like, oh, here we are. We're having to take all the things that we've learned and practiced all these years and apply them in a different environment that we're normally accustomed to. And while it wasn't easy and it wasn't perfect or smooth the whole time, we were able to get it done. So I think that's a great example of that, maybe just in our actual lives.
that's where I want to go. And I want you to hear from Sarah and Brandon on this as well, because you really are like having to practice imperfectly what we're teaching. And that's the irony. I joke around about this idea of, hey, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence and calmness.
Yeah.
And then cut. What are we doing? It's like, time out. So it's that B-roll where, dang it, why wasn't it filming? All right, we're going to talk about just breathing and being
Let's
honorable.
talk about working through setbacks.
And loving others.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you flip a table. That's strength coach. Like, all right, let's get in shape.
Let's go.
Like, did you just put a cigarette out?
Yeah, exactly.
Brandon, Sarah, moments where you were doing it and you're doing it in a different platform, which I do want to also talk about the live versus, because you touched on earlier, like there's no reaction. But we'll talk about that before we land the plane. Moments where you were like, see it a little differently, or that squared me up. And it's your content, which is kind of neat.
I think for me, it's one of the things that I really enjoy about being a presenter is through the power of story, through the power of extending real stories about real people doing real things in the world. You can help kind of open up new windows into old truths, as one of my mentors, Will Cunningham, would always tell me. And I think that the kind of aha for me in going through this is that I can actually take a story and really just kind of hit the high notes of it. And I don't have to descend into the particulars of each component of this. And it will help somebody else see what we're trying to talk about. Perfect example, in our wellness and sustainability module, we talk a lot about the importance of health, people, and purpose. Really building up a bank of sustainability by having wellness that allows you to be resilient, because setbacks in life are going to occur naturally. Mm-hmm. And one of the big barriers to that, because you could look at people and say like, yeah, we need to be healthy, we need to have good relationships, and we need to have a sense of purpose, and be like, yeah, cool. Am I paying for this? Like, did we pay for this? Like, who doesn't know that?
So true.
It's simple, but it's not easy. And we have these barriers. And one of the barriers we talk about is something called identity asymmetry, which is putting an asymmetrical amount of your identity in what you do, as opposed to who you are. We always talk about the fact that, you could sit down next to somebody you never met, in the first 30 seconds, it's like, so what do you do? Right? And I usually, in a live setting, I tell a little bit of a story about a moment after I got out of the military that helped me really understand this, because I had spent, 6 years post-military really kind of rangering through life. And, it wasn't really turning out well. But instead of really getting into the particulars of the story, and again, this is another thing where my teammates here help me out. It's kind of just like, hey, here's what you need to know.
That's so good.
I spent I was a ranger for just shy of a decade. And so then it was this long, and I just started to realize it, and I started to kind of flip the paradigm to understand that, who we are is more important than what we do. Yeah. What we do is a part of who we are, but it's not all of who we are. And that was a really helpful aha.
You did crush that story. That was earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Come
Like,
on.
I was just gonna
Thank
rock
you.
it till the wheels fall off, and eventually they fell off. And like we had a shared laugh right there on camera, and I was like, "That's the best he's ever told that story." And like maybe not the best, but it was like 20% as long as it normally was, and it was like really impactful.
Yeah.
It's, even that exchange right there is exactly what I love watching you two. You say something, Brandon, that I think is so important, is do not get caught in descending into the particulars. And I think every storyteller, which by the way, I believe is everyone who's able to communicate,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And I think part of that is if you descend into the particulars, you're not allowing the audience to place themselves into the story.
Right.
And I've learned that the hard way too, because again, I think Brandon, you and I, from a rhythm perspective and a kind of a love language perspective, have a similar in terms of encouragement, and we process out loud, and we love to passionately share. But if you give too many particulars, you're like, oh, now it's your story,
Yeah.
and it's not my
Yeah.
story.
Yes.
Yeah.
You nailed that. I love that you guys were like, yeah, you did that well yesterday on that.
Along the lines of what he was saying, I really enjoy asking people, what are you into? Instead of, what is it you do, you know? And that goes for kids and adults.
Yeah.
You know, I asked your daughter the other night at dinner, like, what are you into? Instead of
What
like,
a
what do you
different
go
change.
to? What do you go to school? Because they don't really, well, I go, what grade are you in? Like everyone, I feel like everyone asks those questions, but no one asks like,
asked
what are
her
you
that
into?
question.
As Sarah says this, we're all like, dang it.
Trying to make sure that I have the profile complete.
Jackie,
There
if
you
you're
go.
listening, can we have a do-over?
Totally. I'm like, I need to be a yogi now. I teach, do as I say, not as I do. You did do that. You've actually done that throughout this trip. But when you all came over to break bread with us and the Game On team at our home, to watch you connect with my 14-year-old daughter. And I didn't know what you guys talked about, but I saw her engaging. And that's a really practical technique for people to switch from what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Any plans for the summer? The 14-year-old's like, I'm not in control of the plan.
I don't know.
I plan to get on the plane that my parents buy tickets for me.
Totally.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Yeah, I don't even have Google Calendar.
Yeah.
So you asked her,
What are you into?
What are you into?
Yeah, and it's neat. I think it's neat to ask people our age that too, because they don't get asked that much. So, where do you work? What's your background? You know.
Yeah, we get caught in that rhythm. So I do it, and I teach this, and I do it. Hey, everything good? And then you just walk by. No, it's not. Oh, that wasn't.
That was just
I'm
Kurt.
sorry.
Yeah.
Line.
And marker.
How are you?
Marker.
Marker. Oh, that's the name.
Yeah,
Click marker.
Clacker. Okay,
Oh.
now we close the loop
It's
on
not a
that.
clacker.
Okay.
Yeah, Blayne would be up till 3 in the morning. Like, what's that thing called? Marker. I think we need that in life too. You know, like my wife could use that for a start and stop. Or I could be telling a story, and I'm going on and not realizing I'm going on, but she's nodding because she's a nice human being, and instead she could just go click and see, and then I know that she's heard enough.
I've got what I needed from that.
Yeah, I enjoyed our workouts in the morning.
That was fun.
I enjoyed our workouts in the morning. It's connected, by the way, because I'm not just going on some pivot. Because it's more than lifting weights. It's part of your culture. It's Jackie asked at the dinner, hey, what's the... I'll never forget this. What's with the workouts? Because she saw that her husband was getting up at 5:30 in the morning.
What is happening?
Twice. And Brandon didn't just answer. He positioned himself. Did you see this? At the kitchen table, he kind of went to the head. And do you remember your answer?
I said, well, we're athletes.
Yeah. And you also said it's actually what we do.
It's what we do. It's part of our culture.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of cultural touch points that are really important for us.
Yeah.
And every time we go on a trip, we work out together in the morning. We eat breakfast together. It's just critical. It helps us keep in rhythm. It's just an important part of who we are.
And I benefited massively. Listen, I enjoy staying active. I'm 55 years old. But to have that accountability, there you go, which is not a dirty word. You guys have helped us understand accountability should not be disregarded, and then empowerment is the special child.
We like that one.
Yeah, you overplay. But it was way more than just getting our fitness on.
Yeah.
And I have to give you all a compliment. You allow people to get after it. There's a challenge, but you also let people do it at their pace.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about sort of what you've gotten out of those. I know I could go on, but this isn't about me. Like, what are some things? I saw the sunrise with each other. You and I had a great conversation, Sarah, when the two boys got ahead, and we started chatting about Louisiana and your kiddos that are a little older and tugboating, you know. But
We saw a dolphin.
saw a dolphin.
Dolphins.
You're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, that was all set
You
up.
arranged
Yeah, that was great.
It's called preparation.
Yeah.
It's called preparation.
Thank
Use
you.
my stuff against
Oh, wow. Oh, now we're into like, trademark. Oh, so you guys are into that. Intellectual property?
Yeah, I mean,
Game On's Leadership Applied Academy of the partnership. Like, dude, why did you steal our name? I didn't. Yeah, you're welcome. What are some things that you see come out of that beyond like, yeah, we our muscles are growing?
Well, even it's part of our backgrounds just from growing up being athletes and then in the military. But with us working at Team Red, White, and Blue together, I think this was a kind of realization for me when I worked there, is getting people together to go for a walk, do a little sweat, go for a ruck. It really allows people to, bring their curtains down and connect with each other. I said to Jake the other day, he was talking about the baton race, and I said, never underestimate the power of going on a walk with someone or being in a car with someone. And like, there's something about having people kind of stare straight ahead for a little bit and then look at each other or breaking a sweat that just allows people to just have real conversations and find some type of connection.
You mentioned Jake Higginbotham, our COO, and he's brought a big part of that to our team, giving credit where credit's due. So it doesn't surprise me you guys had that connection where, you look at a ruck and sometimes people are like, why are you purposefully doing things that are painful for you? But it's actually not. And I do think it brings down people's guards.
Yeah, I think if you look at something like exercise too narrowly, you miss some of the greater impact. And one of the things that we think all the time about are, if we're going to establish a real big priority, like a kind of a non-negotiable in life that we're always going to make time for, ideally that thing helps or benefits you on more than one level. Yeah. And like if you get up in the morning and go outside and work out together, you're getting fitness, which is important for you.
Check.
Right? It's forcing you to go to bed on time and have one drink or zero drinks the night before because you've got to get up early. Right? So there's a benefit there. You're getting outdoors, getting fresh air, connecting with nature, huge benefit to that. And you're spending time with your friends and connecting with other humans. So you've really only made one decision. You're doing one thing, right? You're getting up in the morning and working out, but you're improving your life, your relationships, all of that in 4 or 5 dimensions. And there aren't that many things that can do that for you.
It's so good.
Right? So you find 1 or 2 or 3 of those things in your life, or that you make part of your culture as kind of a non-negotiable. And you don't have to be stressing all the time about tidying up, like, well, I got to connect with that person, I got to do this. Like, what if there's something we could do that would actually accomplish more than one thing? And so you don't have to multitask.
So good, man. I'm listening to Blayne going, that's a video clip.
yeah, you're welcome.
Katie, that's a video clip. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Mark.
I want to tell you all how appreciative we've been at Game On for your support. It's people that are listening and watching think this might just be the 45-minute meeting that we have here, but we go back 10 years. You haven't just practiced our concepts of laugh with, not at, have each other's back, celebrate small wins. You put it in action. I think that's a big part. We joked earlier about, the strength coach. I didn't mean to be mocking, but like, let's get in shape. No one's going to really like go, oh, that's the person I want to train with. But you have put it in action. We've been able to work together. You've opened up opportunities for us, and it's really cool to see it in action. These 3 days of being together has been, I call it iron sharpens iron. Mm-hmm. Also just to be able to learn from you all, to learn about how your pre-recorded programs can come to life in a different way than your live training, and the vulnerability of saying, look, it's not easy to talk to a camera and the camera's not going, that's good. Oh, that's good. Yeah. No way. Yeah, there's no nodding.
Yeah.
Yeah, for guys that
I'm like, can you just make the camera nod for me, please?
For guys that like encouragement, man, staring at that camera's like, can the camera wink?
Is something?
Smile?
Is it possible for you guys to take a Sharpie and write a smile on that lens? Would that mess up? Can you get that out of the shot if we put that in?
Can my mom's voice come out of the camera that says, you're better than the sun and the moon and the stars? True story.
You can do anything. Anything.
If you overplay that, it can get problematic. Mm-hmm. Hey, I want, in terms of you gifted us a few different ways, gifting us with your excellence, your presence, gifting with the gift that you honored us with at our home for dinner, your patches. We have our own gifts. Our concept of coins, not from the military side, that is a different metaphor, but we have our Game On coins, and this is from the whole team. And Nick has one too. Nick's not here, but he's your videographer who's pretty much, without him, you ain't doing this.
Right, yeah, right.
True.
Agree?
Yeah,
100%.
Watch
on the team.
At the end of the clip, they can't hear our audio.
He's in. Yeah.
Hear us. This is our Self Others Purpose coin. Blayne, thank you so much, brother, for all that you've done. Sarah, thank you
so
as well.
much.
And Brandon, and it's more than just a coin. It's this idea of remembering how this coin concept of remember, and you all do this so well, we're not identified by just one thing that we've achieved. We are not just the former actor, not just the former Coast Guard, not just the former special operator not just folks that have protected our country. And that doesn't mean those things aren't important, but we're parents, we're husbands and wives, we are folks that love dogs, we are good question askers, we are
whisperer,
skateboard enthusiasts, we are former or maybe even current kickbox champions and 50Kers, but all of those things. So your coins are things that you value that go beyond your main. It could be people, places, pets, food, that bring a smile to your face. And I will tell you, you all three are a coin for Game On. And personally for me, you're a coin for me. You have encouraged me and you've helped me stay sharp over this last 10 years. So, yeah.
Steve, I know you're trying to land the plane.
That's
here,
right.
And I've told you this before, but a lot of folks that are listening probably don't know this. You have shown us the way over the last decade. There's no chance we're here doing this without you. The work you did with us all those years ago not only inspired us, I think catalyzed us to want to be able to do this kind of work because of how impactful it was. But then you just like opened up shop, gave me the keys to the kingdom, showed me how to do this behind the scenes, and kind of demystified it and made it look like I can never be Steve. Like, you're really one of a kind in terms of your abilities from the podium, but you kind of tore the curtain back and said, no, there are ways you can go about doing this. You could eventually earn a living doing this someday if you're really committed to it. And you've encouraged us all along the way and helped us in so many kind of practical ways. But I think the most important way is the way that you and Game On just sort of show up in the world, the way that you conduct yourselves, the way you treat your clients and people like us. I mean, it's absolutely the way to do things. It has informed the way that we do almost everything. So we cannot thank you enough, sincerely. There's no chance that we're here doing this all these years later if we'd never met you and you hadn't helped us really every step along the way.
I receive it, even though I'm not great at receiving compliments.
I like that.
Yeah.
Turn the tables on you.
Whoa.
I'm not going to be the only person that's uncomfortable.
Whoa, this switch. This pivoted quick. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got a lot of game left to play. Let's keep practicing what we're teaching, and we're going to do it imperfectly. Yeah?
Yes.
And let's remember, I'm serious, laughter is not just funniest cat in the room. Cool?
Yep.
It's levity, it's joy, it's watching the sunrise and laughing, going, this is beautiful. Why don't I do this more? No way there's a dolphin over there. No way. We have to retake that take for the 5th time. And I want to strangle myself, but Sarah made me laugh. Cool? Let's find the joy. Let's find the levity. Let's find the laughter. You don't want to square up with this one in the middle here. That was Laugh With Applied Leadership Partners. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Blayne. Thank you, Nick, who helped with the whole tech and videography and filming and editing for their thing. And keep an eye out for that pre-recorded program. I mean that because these folks, the only reason I opened up that door for you, Blayne, is because I trusted you as a human, but I trusted your content massively. I want good sound out there. And if it's good sound, let's go. There's so much work to be had that if you get territorial or covet, you're really off track. Cool? Yeah. Well, let's go. Laugh With Applied Leadership Partners. Hey, you can check out this podcast where podcasts can be checked out. That's how savvy I am. There's links. You know how to check out the podcast. It's like saying, hey, I can't make it to the phone right now. Please leave a message.
You're at the phone. You're listening to the podcast.
Your cell is in your hand. The 80s called. They want their voicemail back. Anyway, that's it. Laugh With. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for tuning in. Have a blessed day.